this, this TO, they always ask for their feedback thread at the end of every single event on Reddit. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is better than your Reddit effing feedback thread. This is just reality. Like
we said effing.
Okay.
Like we are all
like
fucking
family
show.
I'll just say.
What the fuck are you doing?
ESL Pro League has completely lost its identity as a product. It's just completely lost. It does not know the tone that it wants to set anymore. It needs to completely change what the actual tournament is here now, because you can't go with this kind of jovial, joking broadcast when the games actually matter all the time.
Oh, I see what you mean, right.
Yeah, it's not. It's like the problem, the thing is that ESL Pro League was almost self-deprecating in nature because it was a 5-week
It was supposed
program.
to be like a meme tournament almost, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and they almost made a joke of the fact that, yes, we are just farming watch hours by having 5 weeks of tier.
And it was like
CS,
triple elimination or whatever the fuck. It was not even the craziest format of all time. A massive playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was just a total joke in terms of the gravitas of the games. But now, because there's VRS implications and
I see what you mean,
it's now just 2 weeks.
Right.
It's just 2 weeks now. Like you can't really the second game, third game is like life or death for these teams already.
True.
And it matters too much. So the idea to go with like a joking, a tongue-in-cheek broadcast when also, by the way, many of these teams aren't even in the VRS, and it's their only chance to get points. Like, for example, like these teams are battling their fucking brains out. Okay, like they're trying so hard now because a lot of these teams came from ESL Challenger League, and this is their only chance on a LAN to get VRS points. And so it's not just some joke of like, we'll see Rooster next season again, because they always make it through. It's like, there's very few opportunities for any of these teams now. So if you're going with like a tongue-in-cheek style, it just doesn't work over a 2-week period because the tournament ramps up too quickly. So like, I don't know how week 2 can maintain any of the spirit of what ESL Pro League showed us. And by the way, like, I think the product for EPL for the last 3 seasons was pretty entertaining and refreshing, but I just don't think that it makes any sense now in a tournament that's as long as Cluj-Napoca, because now you're basically running a tournament that should have an arena component at the end of it with the quality of teams that are there and the amount of teams that are there. But if you're just going to do like, it's a studio and we're all like, who cares about this tournament? It's like, well, then why am I even watching?
Hey. Well, the thing is, like, first of all, I see you brought your dictionary, like slang dictionary. He keeps saying some fucking phrases that I have no idea
like
what the fuck they're like tongue in cheek and knee jerk and what the fuck does that even mean? Like
tongue in cheek just means it's in
tongue in cheek means you're being silly. You're not being serious. And knee jerk is just like, when you hit the leg with the doctor hits your muscle on your leg and your leg goes out. It's like that. You just do a reaction instantly. You don't think about it. It just happens spontaneously when the thing happens to you.
So it's like impulsive, like
sort of. That'll do.
My a way to put it, my tongue-in-cheek takes elicit knee-jerk reactions from you, Kassan.
Like mine, tongue-in-cheek. Like, what does that fucking mean?
He's right.
It's like when I'm talking. If I'm talking and my tongue's in my cheek, it's like I'm kind of like I'm being silly.
Trolling.
He nailed it. His tongue-in-cheek takes elicit knee-jerk reactions from you, Kassan. So keep your hair on, get it together, and fucking.
I get it, but it's kind of stupid. But whatever. Where was I? Yes, Pro League. Pro League.
Yeah.
What do I think about it? I don't know.
I
get Bowie's point. I get Bowie's point. I 100%. And I agree with it. For the most part.
But get ready.
Actually, no, there is no but. There is no but.
Okay.
I was also watching, because I was watching the at the same time Dream League ESL Dota event, right? And I see guys fucking wearing some Renaissance fucking fair clothes, doing some fucking dances. The big phones are ringing. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, I understand a little bit of entertainment, right? Like, I do tend to have a different type of broadcast when it's an IEM and when it's a Pro League. In the last few seasons, when it didn't matter so much, yes, it was fine. Right now, maybe they could change. They should change it. Actually, they should change it definitely into something more. I don't know if the serious is a better word, but I don't know, less. What is the word? Less goofy? Is that a girly word? I think that's a
Curly
good one.
No, Goofy works. Goofy works.
Yeah, maybe also at the same time, the seriousness of broadcast doesn't really affect your game style or gameplay.
Okay.
Because people that are watching, if they're fighting for life and death, they don't watch the broadcast at the same time they're playing.
Okay.
You know, so that doesn't really affect the teams at all. If it affects you as a viewer that expects something serious, because it's the world rankings and whatnot, like, you know, big event, a lot of money, no arena, that should be arena for the event like this, you know, then I can understand if it's like more people like you thinking the same, which I think over time will happen. I think more people will realize, I think ESL will realize, all right, we cannot do this like this anymore. We need to change it into something different, right? Into something more serious, something more, what is the fucking word? Appropriate to the level of event, right? Now, if they're going to do that, I don't fucking never know with ESL what the fuck are they going to do. Like, tomorrow they can just put all events like this, you know, and just do it. But I get the take completely. I agree with it. I don't think it's so hot, but I think you are on the point when it comes to that. I think it's a little bit kind of off track considering the importance of the event and what does it bring to the teams, and the fact that can qualify them to the next things, that can, you know, potentially qualify them to major and all these things. Maybe the unseriousness in the broadcast can be a little bit too much for somebody who's came here to watch more dramatic matches, more hyped, tensed, you know, whatever matches. It still bothers me that there is no trash talking, there is no fucking anything going on between these teams. They just might be fucking holding their hands and dancing for from now on, because it's so shit. Nobody's like yelling at anybody. Nobody's like, you know, trash talking anybody. Nobody's doing anything. It's so boring for watching. Like, it's boring like shit. But yeah, that's where we are right now.
I agree with the take. I do think the problem is that they haven't thought what is the identity of Pro League, and they haven't transitioned it. They've just come down between the two positions. Because I agree with you. Before, the reason it sort of worked to have that style is, one, as far as I know, it was actually people like Chad who wanted to make it like, look, since we're going to be in Malta all these weeks and weeks and weeks, let us have fun with it. Let us make this the event where we can sort of let loose and we don't have to like get production to do everything for us, etc. So as far as I know, they came up with a lot of the fun, different things that they used to do with props and stuff like that, which is a good idea, by the way. The less important the matches, the more you should actually just let the talent free to just do whatever the fuck. That's why most of the funniest segments that me and Richard ever did was just when it was a dog shit game or teams that no one gives a fuck about, or there was a million tech pauses, and if you'd actually just done a straight analysis, it would just be a bad analysis because no one cares about the game. But the problem is, I agree with you, they've gone in between now, because if you tune in, especially, by the way, look, the usual offenders, if you tune in and hear Machine and Chad, when it's a game that wasn't that important, they're going to do some little skit like the one where they had the person just do the fucking observing without them doing the casting. If you do the obvious other ones is when Henry gets together with like Harry and Hugo, they're all going to go on some weird tangent and do some funny angles and stuff. Now, I agree with you, though, it doesn't really make as much sense when it's like, none of these are like real matches. And actually, for some of these teams, like if they lose this game here, you just won't see them at the rest of the tournaments. Like, this is like their RMR, boys. And remember, here's another thing, by the way, Maui. It literally is the RMR for these teams. Like, to get to the majors is going to be really hard now. People keep forgetting you come through the circuit. So when people bomb and fail tournaments now, that's like you've gone down 0-2 in the RMR, and like you're facing your last chance to get anywhere. So yeah, the sad thing is it's going to take us a long time, I can tell you, because I told you the actual analogy for me is like the tennis rankings, where you have to know what the last 52 weeks were and what point someone's almost protecting that. Because essentially, like, if you don't know the difference between these matches, you don't really know like actually the implication for the rest of the circuit. Like, it's not just how high did you place. It also matters like LAN wins and things like that. So yeah, it all adds up. And I agree, they haven't really figured it out, because what I don't get is the reason why every other ESL works, every other ESL event works, is notice the framing in the Swiss or the group stage in every ESL event is, can you make the arena? The arena is the prestige. Yeah. Everyone wants to be there. You want your family to see you there. That also doesn't exist for this event. This event isn't built as like it's a big arena event at the end and it's super hype. So I'm actually a bit more lost myself. Like, what I like about Pro League is you just get to see a lot of games. So you get to see a lot of like matchups between people. But I agree, I don't really know what's the tagline for Pro League? What is it? What are they supposed to be thinking I'm getting out of it? What's the selling point, aside from like, in theory, almost everyone's here? That's it. Because I agree, it's going to end up still being thought of as like a less important event. I don't really know where they're going on it, mate.
The tagline now should just be like, the best teams in the world, a lot of matches, low pressure.
Okay.
Like that's just a weird, but that doesn't sell a tournament. In fact, the more compelling part of ESL Pro League to me in some way is actually watch the teams that never get a chance throughout the entire year make it through ECL and now have a chance at a tier 1 LAN, even if it's a studio. I mean, not the sexiest tagline, but you know what I mean? Like Tai Lu at this tournament has actually just suddenly climbed the rankings dramatically because they were able to beat 2 European teams, or who did they beat? They beat either way, they beat 2 higher ranked teams, and they almost just beat Gamer Legion, went 3-0. Like that in itself is probably going to end up being the best story of Pro League. Like even if like Spirit or Vitality or Navi win it, it's like, we kind of know that one of those teams in that upper echelon is likely to do it. Maybe we get a surprise story for someone that goes deep, but like I think the Tai Lu story is already the most compelling thing of this whole season, and some of the games are just kind of like, well, actually, I think the casters have done a good job, but like, they fall into the trap sometimes with these like other random games where it's just like, what's the theme? What's the tone of this?
Okay. By the way, I won't do a big hot take, but if I was to give you like a free miniature hot take that you could, okay, I can take that home with me. The obvious one would be this: where the fuck did anyone have Tai Lu ranked in their brain before this tournament? Spoiler: think about what they already have done vis-a-vis Imperial Valkyries. In fact, you know what the hot take would be? Would be if I sent Imperial Valkyries to the fucking Asia RMR, would they even make top 4? Another one. He's just fucking...
It would be dead low.
Yeah, it's like fucking clay pigeon shooting. Got it straight out the chute, mate. Straight away.
It would be 100% dead low. 100%.
Yeah. Luckily, we'll never have to try that experiment. Yeah, we'll never try that experiment, so it's all good. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.